Today I'm going to talk about Ruben Salazar. I feel like he's one of the most important people who ever walked the face of the earth. He's really awesome. He's an advocate. He was a journalist. We're going to watch probably just 30 seconds just so you guys can feel the suspense of everything that he was going, it was a lot. All right. He had connections with Bobby Kennedy, Eisenhower. This man wasn't just a regular journalist. This man was somebody who actually cared and he really wanted to fight for change. So this is why I really respect him. And just the first 30 seconds, just to get an idea of who he is. Dead.
He was the news director for Spanish language television station KMAX here in Los Angeles and the column. Killed by a tear gas projectile August 29th.
Conspiracy.
The hearing is about to get underway on time.
I keep telling myself that the tear gas shell could have struck anybody in that bar. It was an accident that it struck the man. Yet I know that anybody who tries to stand too long between hostile camps is going to get hurt.
Okay. So that's all I'm going to show. Alright. Well, President Trump signed 3 executive orders the week of January 23rd, 2017, which offend the dignity and threaten the rights of immigrants and refugees, both in the United States and globally. This doesn't just pertain to Hispanic Mexican Americans. This actually pertains to everyone who has ancestors coming from, or not ancestors, but everyone who has anybody coming from another country, Brazilians, whatever, just any culture, whatever. This isn't just pertaining to Hispanics, so this is why it's important to really understand why it's important to have an advocate like Ruben Salazar. Ruben Salazar was born on March 3rd, 1928 in Ciudad Juarez, where when he turned 8 months old, his parents decided moving him here to the States was the best idea. There's a lot more opportunity here for him, and he's a perfect example of coming to this country and making a better opportunity, not only for him, but for his bloodline, for his people. Such a great guy. Ruben Salazar, he graduated high school in 1954, and he served in the military for 2 years. I believe that's what gave him kind of a lot of respect, you know what I mean? Just to be able to be in the military for 2 years, that's a lot of respect you just given. His hard work doesn't stop there when he's accepted at the University of El Paso, and he graduates with a bachelor's degree in journalism, which is super awesome. Like, just to be able to overcome obstacles and be able to become a journalism. And it's at this time in the 1970s, it wasn't, things like this weren't really happening. Salazar began his journalism career at the El Paso Herald-Post, launching a career of many firsts for the mainstream press as the first Latino reporter at the Post. He crossed into English language journalism. He became the first Latino foreign correspondent as well. But before I talk about him being a correspondent, let's talk about his time at the Herald-Post. This man was awesome. He was bright, he was sophisticated, he was smart. He actually got himself arrested on drunk driving charges just so that way he can go in and get locked up and see how inhumane it was in the prison systems. It still is, right? It's still horrible, but he wanted to write about it. He wanted to spread light on it, so he did. All right, shortly after that, being the bright young man that he is, and a lot of the journalists at the time, they were wanting to move to LA, like a lot of us now want to move to LA because like there's so much opportunity out there. He moved to LA. He begins writing for the LA Times. He becomes a correspondent. His boss ends up moving him to Mexico. Him and his family, they moved to Mexico because he wants to write about things that are going on that we're still fighting for today, such as immigration, border control, and drugs. And it sucks that things aren't completely at peace today, but he put a dent. He put a big dent in what we're fighting for. At the time, like it said in the video, when you're making a difference and you're getting your people to stand up and actually fight for what you want them to fight for good causes, the government, they don't like that, right? Because they have their own agenda. So with that being said, he was being followed, and every move and everything that he was doing was being closely examined. And Salazar was brave, man. He was so brave. he was just able to just, he was brave. All right, so he ends up getting married. His wife doesn't really respect what he's trying to do, which I feel like gives him a lot of courage to keep moving on. And according to a YouTube video titled "The Death of Salazar," Danny Venezuela, former president and manager of KMEX, explains that Salazar lived a very private life, driving back and forth to LA to Orange County. Salazar expressed very freely that he was being followed, because in this time when he was writing his articles, he's writing really good articles such as Eisenhower's returning to Gettysburg on train. He's talking about just a lot of good stuff. Salazar felt it was in his personal and professional responsibility to give necessary attention to the actions led by his fellow Los Angeles support from the Chicano movement, particularly when he authored an article for the LA Times titled "Who is a Chicano and What does a Chicano Want?" In this piece, Salazar does not only describe the movement, but he details his frustration with the lack of Mexican-American representation among the elected representatives in Los Angeles County. A lot of these people who pretend to be leaders are not really leaders. And we have that going on even in here at BC. We have all these people saying, yeah, we want to fight for this, we want to fight for that, but what are you doing? Nothing. So he was like, I need to step up. So he ends up leaving LA Times, and they're like, you're crazy for leaving the LA Times. So he ends up leaving the LA Times, and he begins writing for KMEX. When he's writing for KMEX, he begins to just talk about things that really matter. Why aren't we getting the proper justice? Why are our people living in poverty? Why are our kids going to these horrible schools? We're not really getting a true education. So on August 29th, Ruben Salazar was killed in a tear gas projectile fired by Los Angeles Sheriff's Department deputy as he was seated outside a restaurant. He had been taking a break from his assignment. He was covering the Chicano Mortarum anti-Vietnam War. He felt it was wrong that our people are going to war, but then they're not going to be respected when they come back home. That's not right, and even to this day, that's not right. So he's remembered. Salazar was awarded the Robert F. Kennedy Journalism Award in 1971. In 1999, the California Chicano News Media Association established the annual Ruben Salazar Journalism Award. The award recognizes the work published or broadcasted in California that exemplify journalistic excellence while contributing to a better understanding of Mexican-American culture. And today, it's July 10th, right? So we're remembering him today. We're remembering him right now. His work lives on. He's still in the midst. So that's all. Thank you guys.